what motivated me basically is that we want a united America, peace, and we want somebody strong as our president, someone that's not spewing hate. I'm totally against hate. Totally against not allowing people that want a better future to come in. I think there's a way to fix that instead of fighting, and I definitely would hate to see somebody with dictatorship mentality become president.
Being from Miami, I don't know how to feel about Cubans being in their find out era, because they took over Miami, and it was to the point where you couldn't even find a job unless you spoke Spanish. And even if you spoke Spanish and you wasn't Cuban, you wasn't getting that job. And I give them a lot of credit, because before their family or friends would leave Cuba, they would already have a job, a car, and a place to stay by the time they reached Miami. Like, they really set up their people very, very well. They even had a wet foot, dry foot policy. Where they messed up at was thinking that they thought becoming a Republican was going to make them turn. And the whole time they're speaking Spanish. And a majority of them didn't even bother to learn English, but yet they thought they were. And my main question is, what is the difference between Fidel Castro and 45? Until then,
hey guys, welcome back again to the channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking when you saw this video. So I came across this on my FYP, Miami Cubans. So a lot of them actually voted for whatever thing that is currently happening to them, because they voted red fully, okay, even though they didn't actually know that this was going to happen. I've told you guys on this channel before that a lot of Latinos actually voted because they felt it was going to affect other people and not them, because of course they feel they are palm-colored sort of. But now that it's not hitting back home, a lot of them are now on the internet really shouting and crying, why will I be deported? Why is it affecting me? What is my business? Why am I the one to face this and not other people, right? Because that's what you're saying. If you're saying, why is it affecting, why must it come to you, why are we being deported, it means that you will prefer other people to be deported and not yourself. Well, I'm just going to let people's videos roll, okay? Some clips I've gathered for you guys, then I'll come back with my commentary. Let me know what you all think in the comment. Let's have that conversation. Please consider subscribing if you have not, and don't forget to give the video a thumbs up so that more people can see it. Credit to all creators on this video. So let's go watch, then I'll come back with the commentary.
Yes, Cubans are getting deported, but they are not getting deported back to Cuba. And these are not the Cubans who have entered the United States in the last few years. These are Cubans who have been in the U.S. since the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and at one point they were even lawful permanent residents. But because of their criminal history, they lost their immigration status and were ordered deported. But because of the political situation between the United States and Cuba, they were actually never deported to Cuba. And instead, they were placed on what's called order of supervision, where they typically go once a year for a quote-unquote check-in, and they meet with an ICE officer, and the ICE officer makes sure that they don't have any other crimes going on, and they're abiding by the terms of their check-in, and they're able to apply for a work authorization. Since Cubans were not accepted by Cuba to be deported, they have remained in the United States for decades under the order of supervision. But now, since the Trump administration is pushing hard this third country removals, Cubans are now being deported to various locations, including Mexico. We are seeing Cubans go to their ICE OSUP check-in appointment and be detained, and they're spending a few weeks in Chrome and then being transferred over to Texas, and then from Texas they're being placed on a bus and then deported to the southern part of Mexico. Shame, because I think if ICE had told them what the plan was, these people could at least prepare for it, but sadly they have absolutely no idea that this is even coming to them. And now they've been in the U.S. for 50, 60 years with relatives and businesses and families and ties to the U.S., and just being dropped off in another country with no ID, no money, and no resources.
I don't want to hear your cries. I don't want to hear your complaining. I don't want to hear your coulda, shoulda, wouldas, because I don't feel no ways tired. I don't want to hear this is not what I voted for. This is exactly what you voted for. That man let you know time and time again that he don't fool up with black and brown people. And it's sad, because you yearning so bad to have proximity to whiteness made you turn a blind eye to the disrespect, made you feel like you were bigger than the program, made you feel like all the insults that he spewed against your people didn't apply to you. So now y'all want to act shocked and appalled because he done called the National Guard, everybody and their mama, to scrape you and your family members off the floor of LA. No better for you.
You know what doesn't get talked about enough is the fact that the first several waves of Cubans that came to this country, like we're talking 57, 58, 59, all the way to like 1980. That massive amount of Cubans that came over here, they brought over here their bigotry, their classism, their admiration for forms of corruption. They brought here the same conditions that led to Castro's revolution in 1959. They created that same stuff here. That's why Miami is so impossibly corrupt. That's why we don't have anything that benefits the people here. That's why our politicians and our leaders systematically chop the city up into bits and sell it to the highest bidder, namely developers and like people from other countries. And do you think that we get anything out of any of this? No, the people that live here, no, we don't get anything. It's the same shit that was happening in Cuba that led to the revolution. And meanwhile, there's this whole other group of Latinos, some Cuban, but many not, and of other people who are fucking sick and tired of it. We are so sick and tired of it. We have no public transportation systems. We're stuck in traffic all day, working these shitty-ass jobs that barely pay us, mostly in the service industry, with people who treat us like shit. Those are our lives, and we're so fucking sick and tired of it. We're all living in multi-generational homes because none of us can actually afford a place on our own. Estos fucking Cubanazos that have been in power for fucking ever and have taken this city to ruin have never cared about this place. They have never cared. They care about their pocketbooks. They don't care about this city and the beauty that has been there and the beauty that has been lost. They don't give a shit, and they need to get the fuck out. Get them out of office. Get them out of leadership positions. They need to go. In order for us to actually have a functioning city that works for us and for our future generations, they need to fucking get out of power. Where's a black mayor? Have we had a black mayor in Miami? Meanwhile, black people built this fucking city. Built this city. Former slaves and Bahamians who came over built this city, and we have no fucking representation at the top tiers of the city from that community? Get the fuck out of here. We need people in charge who actually love this place and care about this place and will develop it in a way that works for all. Not for only the ultra rich. That's what this city is for. It's for the ultra rich. Mangroves have been chopped down. Manatees have died. Entire forests have been felled for these people. Our water is more and more and more polluted. Our traffic is worse and worse and worse for these people who have multiple homes and so many assets that when a hurricane hits or when something happens, they can literally just collect the insurance money and go live in their house in the Hamptons, or maybe in their apartment in Dubai, or maybe in their penthouse unit in Tel Aviv. That's who our Cuban fucking leaders have sold our city to. People who are not invested in this place. They don't care. They can just leave. They come here to play around. Are you sick of it? Because I'm sick of it. And if all the people who are sick of it start coming together, there might be more of us than there are of them.
Stand up, Miami Cubans. Stand up and take a round of applause for playing yourself. Oh, you think this is going to only affect those without documents, right? How are they going to know? How are they going to know who is here legally and who is not? Oh, you're going to let them violate your constitutional rights and ask you for your ID? Oh, you think, oh, I'll just show them my ID and they won't bother me, without realizing that is a violation of your constitutional rights. Do you even know your constitutional rights? Do you even know? Or do they just keep you down there in Miami in some of the worst schooling in the nation, and they don't tell you your constitutional rights as they stomp on them? Oh, you think it's going to affect others and not you. It's the selfishness that really gets to me. The selfishness that they voted for this. And I'm not saying that Haitians, Venezuelans, and Nicaraguans, whether they were here legally, voted for this. No. Specifically, Miami Cubans, who were so blatant on the timeline leading up to the election, that they wanted this, but you didn't realize how it's going to affect your life, because how do they know who is documented and who is not? You're about to FAFO.
And before you make a video trying to demonize black folks for saying they're not doing shit because things were done when it mattered in that voting booth in November, I want you to make a video and I want you to call out Latinos for Trump. And I want you to call out Mexicans for Trump. And I want you to call out Cubans for Trump. And I want you to rally everybody else who voted for their own demise while me and mine was in the booth. Call them out. Don't worry about us. We're well aware that this is affecting us. Which is so funny because the last 6 months he's been doing everything to target black folks, and they can't seem to figure out why we haven't wowed out yet. That's what's real. Y'all quick to want somebody to come out to the front lines for y'all, but when was the last time you saw what was happening that directly affects us and y'all was like, you know what? We in there. Oh, okay.
I am feeling so sad that this is happening to a lot of people in that community, right? Especially the Cuban community. And it baffles me that a lot of people actually do not want Cubans around them. Like, a lot of people keep talking about it, right? That Cubans will always, make you want to lose your mind, sort of. A lot of people have actually come out to really talk about it. I don't know why, right? I really don't know why. I've never had encounter with any, but having to hear from these content creators on how they behave in workplaces and all that, that makes it very reasonable to think that these people might not really be so friendly for everybody to really turn their back on them, because it's so shocking to know that a community is going through stuff and nobody is actually reacting about it, especially except their own community members who are also might be facing the same thing, right? But everybody outside is actually not talking about it. People who talks about it are happy that it's happening to them. It's really heartbreaking it's happening, because nobody wants to watch people get deported and also separated from their families. Not only that, these people have known this place as home, right? They have lived here over the years, worked here, have friends, build relationships. Some of them even have houses, and of course some of them have jobs and all that, living a better life than any other where they're coming from, because you won't tell me that Cuba is better than America, right? In terms of wages, minimum wage and all that. You cannot tell me that, right? So a lot of them prefer to live in the US than living in Cuba. And that's why whenever you see ICE coming to a particular location to raid Latinos, you see how all of them actually try to scatter and run away. That's because they actually prefer staying in America. Somebody said something about being oppressed in America than moving back to Cuba in the comments. And that actually makes a lot of sense, because America is actually a very great country where a lot of people, we have better opportunities, have better standard of living and all that, even though cost of living can be on the high side than comparing it with any other country, even somewhere in Mexico, in Brazil, even in Cuba. You cannot compare the cost of living there than over there in America. But what happens to wages? What happens to making more money? You make more money in the US, even though a lot of people have said that those money also go back into the US, because you pay taxes, you pay for your housing. At the end of the day, you have little or nothing to hold as like your own what's it called now, like your profit or something, right? Or savings. And a lot of people have also come out to talk about how they can't even go for a lot of trips or vacations because they are trying to pay mortgage, they're trying to pay a lot of things. Before you know, healthcare is so expensive that people cannot even afford healthcare anymore. And that's why when Obamacare was taken away, a lot of people came out online and cried about it, because this is the cheapest healthcare insurance they are able to receive, right? The whole affordable care thing, even though these same people actually voted against it, right? These same people voted against the whole Obamacare, thinking that affordable healthcare is not Obamacare. And now that Obamacare is rolled away, everybody is complaining, right? So healthcare is also on the increase. A lot of them say they voted for cheaper groceries, and now they cannot find cheaper groceries because farmers are complaining that deportation has taken away all their farm workers. So when deportation takes away all your farm workers, what do, right? You cannot do anything, because the people who are there to pick your crops, who are supposed to pick your crops and also harvest and plant for you, are nowhere to be found. So somebody said that there will be lot of food shortage, there will be food waste and all of that, and that's because nobody is there to pick up those farms. I think I saw someone in the comment section say that actually some farms that you can go, they open the place for people to come and pick up crops as much as they want and make payment. But how many people is living around those farms that can go into those farms and really pick up crops and go home? So definitely there'll still be shortage of food or waste in the farm, because before anybody would drive or fly from a particular terrain to another just to go and pick up crops, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So you prefer to buy it no matter the amount wherever you are than coming to this other place to pick up crops. So all of these things are going to cause food shortages, and cost of living might skyrocket. A lot of people have talked about that, right? That's cost of living might skyrocket. So for those people who said, especially these people who said that they are voting because they wanted cheaper groceries, cheaper cheese, cheaper gas and cheaper everything. Now the cost of living might go up even more than they all expected. Now, what are you going to do after saying that the reason why you voted for this is because you wanted cheaper food and that the current administration is not giving you all that you want? What else are you going to do? Nothing, because you actually voted against your own interest and the interest of every other person around you. And it hurts so much to know that you are the reason every other person will be going through stuff. So I think that's reason why is as if everybody is actually happy that the Cubans are being, their immigration status has, is being taken away from them and all that. And over, I think about 500,000 of them might actually be facing deportation, and nobody is, smiling about, or nobody's trying to speak up for them or even try to go out there and protest alongside them and all that, right? Unlike the Haitians, when the whole the TPS for Haitians were taken, you saw how people actually came out online and talked, because that Haitians actually have some people who really care so much about them and support them so much, unlike the Cubans. Because I've seen people make videos, especially Black Americans, make videos and say, oh, that they love their Haitians because they support them because they actually black skin and all that, so they support them and all that. And now that this whole thing happened, you remember when the news of the Haitian jumping on ice broke, you saw how everybody was actually happy about it. And a lot of people in the Latin community actually said, why can't they replicate what the Haitians have done and all that? Well, I don't know about that, but I don't think anybody should really it's okay for you to stand up for your own for your rights, okay, but just make sure you are standing on the law, right? Well, guys, I would love to hear what you all think about this whole Cubans who their immigration status who will be stripped away. Okay, I would love to hear what you all think about them. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and don't forget to give the video a thumbs up so that more people can see it. Credit to all creators on this video. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. See you all on my next video. Bye, guys.